Let me tell you something, Pack Nation. We are back. Final episode of the NFC North Draft Review. We did the Bears, we did the Vikings, and now we get to the Lions, the Detroit Lions. And I have to be honest with you, I almost did not do this one because roasting the Lions draft is like making fun of a guy who trips on a flat sidewalk. It is too easy. There is no sport in it. The man is already on the ground. But I am a professional, and I finish what I start. So here we go. The Lions just came off a 9-8 season. 9-8. This is a team that went 15-2 the year before. 15-2. They were in the NFC Championship game. Dan Campbell was biting kneecaps and doing push-ups at press conferences, and the whole country was in love with them. And then 2025 happened, and they fell off a cliff so steep you could hear the echo for 3 months. Whew. Jared Goff got sacked 39 times. Their pass block win rate dropped to 31st in the league. 31st. That is dead last, Pack Nation. Dead last. The only thing below them is the floor. Taylor Decker's shoulder is held together with thoughts and prayers. Dan Skipper is thinking about retirement. The offensive line that was supposed to be their identity looked like a screen door in a hurricane. You ever see a lake in March up here in Wisconsin? One day it looks frozen solid, thick enough to drive on. You would bet your life on it. Then we get 2 warm days, just 2, and the ice goes gray, soft. You could hear it creaking from shore. By Thursday, the whole thing is open water, and there is a fishing shanty sitting at the bottom. That is the Detroit Lions. They look like the hardest, toughest team in football for 2 years. And then 2 warm days hit, and the whole thing fell through. 9-8. Sitting on the couch in January, watching the playoffs from home. So what does Brad Holmes do with the 17th pick in the draft? He takes Blake Miller, offensive tackle, Clemson, 54 career starts, solid, safe, fine. And I mean that, fine. Like when your wife asks how dinner was and you say fine, and she knows that means it was not good, but it was not bad enough to complain about. That is Blake Miller. He is the meatloaf of draft picks. Nobody is mad. Nobody is excited. He just exists. And the Lions fans, all the Lions fans, they are out there on social media acting like they just drafted the second coming of Anthony Munoz. Blake Miller is exactly what we needed. Yeah, you needed meatloaf because the rest of the division is eating steak. The Bears drafted Dylan Thieneman. We got our guys. The Vikings are a mess, but at least they swung. Detroit played it so safe, they should have drafted a helmet for the helmet. But here is where it gets beautiful. Picked 44, second round. The Lions trade up. They send pick 50 and pick 128 to the Jets. Give up a 4th round pick to move 6 spots and take Derek Moore, edge rusher, University of Michigan. Michigan. Now, I have nothing against the University of Michigan as an institution. Fine school, good academics, beautiful campus, I am sure. But the Lions are drafting Michigan players like they get a punch card. Buy 2 Wolverines, get the 3rd one free. Moore is pick 44. Then they take Jimmy Rolder, linebacker, Michigan, at 118. 2 of their first 3 picks are from the same school. That is not scouting. That is homecoming weekend with a salary cap. And Zion Young, the edge rusher out of Missouri, went one pick later to Baltimore at 45. Multiple analysts said Young was the better prospect. Some had him as the second best edge in the whole class. Actually, wait, I think that was, no, third best. Maybe second. I had it written down somewhere. Regardless, the point is, the Ravens got him at 45, and the Lions gave up extra draft capital to grab more at 44. You understand me? They paid more to get the guy most people said was less. Listen, I get it. Culture matters, fit matters. But you know what also matters? Being good at football. And right now, Aiden Hutchinson is carrying that entire pass rush on his back like a pack mule through the Rockies. Moore is supposed to be the answer opposite Hutch, a guy with length concerns who multiple scouts flagged as a rotational piece. That is not an answer. That is a suggestion. Stay with me, Pack Nation. Part 2. We are going to talk about the rest of this draft class, and I promise you, it does not get better.
All right, part 2. Let us finish this autopsy.
Pick 118, 4th round, Jimmy Rolder, linebacker, University of Michigan. Again, Michigan, again. Pack Nation, I counted. 2 of their first 3 picks are Wolverines. Brad Holmes is not running a draft board. He is running a Big Ten alumni networking event. I half expected the next pick to be the Michigan mascot. Rolder had 73 tackles last year. 1 year as a starter. 1. The scouting reports call him intriguing upside, which, and I have said this before, is code for not a sure thing, but we ran out of better options. He is going to play special teams. He might develop into a backup, maybe, if the football gods are feeling generous and the moon is in the right phase and Dan Campbell yells loud enough at practice. Now, here is where I have to be fair, because I am a fair man. I am an unreasonable man in many ways. I eat cheese curds for breakfast. I once stayed up until 2 in the morning arguing with a stranger on the internet about Aaron Jones's yards after contact, but I am fair. Pick 157, 5th round, Keith Abney II, cornerback, Arizona State, 5'10", 187, 20 pass breakups and 5 interceptions over the last 2 years. That is a good pick. That is real value. PFF liked it. Kuiper liked it. I like it. And it pains me to say that because I do not enjoy giving Detroit credit for anything. But Abney in the 5th round is the one pick in this draft where Holmes actually outsmarted the board. Of course, they immediately followed up with Kendrick Law, a wide receiver from Kentucky, as a luxury depth pick. Luxury. They're calling it a luxury. Brother, you just went 9-8 and missed the playoffs. You do not get luxury picks. You get survival picks. You get please stop Jared Goff from getting folded in half picks. Luxury is for teams that have earned the right to get cute. Detroit has not earned the right to get a free refill at a gas station right now. And the late rounds. Skylar Gill Howard, defensive tackle, Texas Tech. Tyree West, edge, Tennessee. More defensive projects. More bodies the coaching staff will talk about in August, and then we never hear from again after week 3 of the preseason. This is the Lions' specialty, drafting late-round defensive projects, hyping them up, and watching them evaporate like morning fog off the Detroit River. But here is the real issue. Here is what nobody in Detroit wants to talk about. 5 of their 7 picks were defensive players. 5 out of 7. And they still did not draft a safety. They did not draft a tight end. The secondary got shredded in 2025. That is why they went 9-8. And they addressed it with one fifth-round corner. That is like your roof is leaking in 4 places, and you put a bucket under one of them and call it a renovation. You know what the Lions remind me of? A team that peaked. I know Detroit fans are going to lose their minds hearing that, but look at the facts. 15-2, NFC Championship game. The whole world on their side. Then 9-8, missed the playoffs. Tears in the locker room at Soldier Field. Brad Holmes gave himself an F for the season. An F. The GM graded his own performance an F and then drafted the safest, most predictable class you will ever see. Where is the urgency? Where is the swing? I will tell you where it is. It is in Green Bay. It is in the locker room at 1265 Lombardi Avenue. Jordan Love, Jaden Reed, Matthew Golden, Micah Parsons, Javon Bullard, Jonathan Gannon running that defense. That is a team that is building for something. That is a team with a plan and the guts to execute it. Detroit is out here drafting Michigan players and calling it a strategy. Green Bay is out here building a championship roster and calling it Tuesday. I love it. I love it. So here is your final NFC North draft report card, Pack Nation. The Bears, delusional, but at least they tried. The Vikings, a full-blown disaster wrapped in a fullback. The Lions, safe, boring, and one Hutchinson injury away from total collapse. And Green Bay is sitting at the top of this division with a smile on its face and a roster built to win. Subscribe to Packernet right now. Leave a 5-star review. Tell every person you know who bleeds green and gold that Big Sal just spent 3 episodes proving what we already knew. The NFC North runs through Green Bay, not Detroit, not Minnesota, not Chicago, through us. This is Big Sal. Packernet Podcast Network. NFC North Draft Review complete. Go, Pack, go.